It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Oh, better have a pint tonight. Sweet taste of victory. When's the last time Habs won big? Tampa lost, Detroit lost, Boston lost. It's been many, many moons. So what a great Saturday night for Habs fans. Thanks for joining me, Grant McCagg. I'm going solo tonight. All of my regulars, busy Saturday night, right? I even got a hold of a couple other guys and they're busy tonight. Hey, it's Saturday night, but hey, I'm here every Saturday. Well, I'm here for every podcast, I guess. You know what the heck, right? I don't have a life anymore. I don't go out on Saturday nights. I watch my NHL hockey. I watch my Habs on a Saturday night. That's my fun. That's my entertainment. What do you think, guys? Tell you what, you'll be my co-host tonight, right? I'll get to your comments here early on, and just run with it. And you know, I love that so many people are showing up here. We already have 31 people tuning in, and we're what, not even a minute into it. So I think this is going to be a fun one. Just give me a sec here. So 6-2 over the Caps. If I got it right, the Caps, they were saying the Caps were 23-2 in Montreal in their last 25. Not ridiculous. So it was nice to spank them, right? In what might be Ovi's last game in Montreal. Kind of hope so. Friggin' two more from Ovi tonight. I was looking at the stats going into the game, and it seems like he's a Montreal killer. I guess he now is 44 in 63 against the Canadiens all time. That's about 11th best. There's like 10 or 11 teams that he's actually scored more goals against. Mind you, there are some teams that he's played more against, but I don't know goals per game where it is, probably about 8 or something, but hell of a career for him, eh? I couldn't believe on that one power play where there was nobody within 30 feet of him. And he got off the shot, but didn't score. Dobie battling as always, right? He's now 19-5-4, I believe the record is. 75% exactly. His win percentage. 75%. 19-5-4. 750 win percentage. Is that friggin' incredible or what? He better get the next start. There'll be a revolt if he's not in net against San Jose on Tuesday. David Auger is joining me Tuesday night, by the way. If you ever caught Happy Hour with David and Veronica and Beth, they were quite a trio. David was my administrator on Recruits HabsCast for, well, he still is. He for a decade, and just a great guy. But Dave's going to start coming on. Great guy. I went to a rookie tournament, actually. He lives in Albany. He met me in Toronto. Went down to, remember when it was in Toronto, the rookie tournament. Anyways, met him there. Super nice American guy. But anyways, I'm looking forward to having Dave as part of the group here to post games. So look forward to that on Tuesday. But quickly here, let's have a look at stats tonight. Obviously, Cole with 2 more goals. He is now on pace for 49. I think he can hit 50. I really do. 48.6% or 48.6 goals is what he's on pace now for. I think he can do it. He's been hot the last, 15, 20 games. I think he'll do it. And I also think that the club will, try to get him up over the mark there. He's certainly going to crack 40 for the first time since Vinny Damphus. But ice time tonight, Gouli. I really like Gouli's game tonight. I think basically since he came back, he just slowly getting better all the time. I 3 block shots, 24-48, led everybody a nice time. Was heavy on the PK. Matheson, how much did Gouli play? 434. So right up there on the PK. As far as skaters, Nick, 18 minutes. Nice to see him getting a little less, right? Instead of like the 22. Kirby Doc with another goal. Nice shot. The top line, hey, 4 goals. So, all the people that have been saying, oh, we should break up that top line. I don't know, folks. 4 goals from the first 4 goals from the first line tonight. Kirby now has 6 points in his last 6 games. Do we really want to break them up? I don't think so. Don't break it. Don't fix what ain't broken, folks. I would not be looking at changing anything up. I don't think there's any huge need to be looking at doing anything with that line. They're playing just fine in my estimation. What else here? Struggle. Interesting. I noticed Arbor Strubs has 3 points in his last 4 games. All right, and I'm looking. I said, well, geez, Arbor doesn't have many points this year, does he? And I looked. No, he's got 2 points this year. And I went back into last year. Arbor has 3 points in his last 95 games, and Struble now has 3 points in his last 4. He does bring a little more offense than Arbor. I thought Struble played a good game tonight. Big hit on Leonard. Leonard's a big kid, but he, Struble really nailed him. I like Struble's game tonight. And I know, every time Struble is in for Jackeye, there's quite an uproar. And then, Arbor can't get rolling because he's out every second game. But you know what? Arbor has played 51 out of 59 games this year, 86% of the games. So it's not 50% of the time that he's out of the lineup. He's played 86% of the games. So, they aren't killing him by him sitting 14% of the time. Struble has to play every now and then. Like he's too young to be sitting in the friggin' press box for 82 games. And it's one of the reasons why I think they might ultimately, trade Struble here. A team looking at it and saying, well, he can hit, pretty decent mobility. He can provide a bit of offense, move the puck, can make big hits, can handle himself. I wouldn't be surprised if Struble, maybe they were showcasing him tonight. We'll see. You want to have 8 or 9 defensemen for the playoffs because it's a war of attrition, especially if they hope to do anything this year. You know, typically there's a defenseman that gets hurt playoff time. So maybe they hold on to Struggle, they get another guy. It's hard to say, but maybe they go down the stretch with 8 defensemen. That means a guy's got to sit out, or 2 guys have to sit out every now and then. But hey, the Canadians are going to make the playoffs. I think tonight was pretty good indication that that's going to. Let's have a look at the. Just a sec here. Here we go. Let's have a look at the updated standings here. Tampa lost tonight, so Montreal's 5 back, one up on Buffalo and Detroit. Nice to see them alone in second in the division, right? Bruins losing are now 71 points, so they're 4 back. Sens, they are 8 back. Florida 12 and the Leafs 12. Leafs have 22 games left and they're 12 points. Safe to say the Habs are going to finish ahead of the Leafs this year. And considering that the Leafs, had 108 points last year, Habs, I believe, had 91. So 17 points, 29 point swing at this point. Like, I know that, they are. I figured that losing Marner for nothing was going to hurt them, but did I think to the extent that there'd be a 29 point swing between the 2 teams? No, but that's okay. Just as long as the Leafs are that bad that they finish, they end up with like a top 5 pick. I don't really want to see that, but anyway, good stuff. Good stuff that the Canadians, I think the Canadians are, it's going to, it'd be quite a surprise if they don't make the playoffs here. 23 games left to get, 100's definitely magic number. 100 you're in for sure. So can they get 25 in their last 23? I would think so. I think that's quite achievable. They're now plus 15 in the differential, which is decent. It's 3rd in the division. 636 win percentage. I really like that. But 6 goals tonight. They're now leading the division in goal scoring. So Monty is an AHLer, says somebody. Let's get to a few questions here. Oh, somebody sent me $5. Who was it? Mark. Come on, Mark. We got to get some. We got to get somebody other than you sending money here. Starting to feel bad about that. Thank you, buddy. You're, I know maybe the Volokin. You would have hoped that there was a little more good news on the Volokin. I did a Volokin video earlier today. Had on Darren Boyce, great kid. Really knows his goaltending, and you get a chance, if you didn't see it, go back and have a look. Some really good video on Volokin, and we broke down his potential. Let's see here. We were playing really well with the lead, but we were starting to play bad. Given the puck lobs from the defensive zone, well, we have control. Yeah. I'm going to be mostly positive tonight, Francois, but it wasn't a Picasso, but all in all, pretty solid game. 4 Summers, that's a kind of a new name. Good day. Well, there's no doubt. 162 on here. 13 minutes in. I love it. I'm really encouraged that people are here on a Saturday night. Welcome everyone, newcomers, sorry I'm solo tonight, but I'll try my best to entertain you. As I say, the live chatters here, you guys are my co-hosts tonight, and that's fine. There's no doubt, as if there ever was, that Dobie is the number one goalie. Absolutely. He makes the saves, the opportune moments, battles. Unlike Monty, Monty should only play the second game of back-to-back. Yeah, that could be, I really think Dobish, I mean, I've said it a few times this year. Sorry, I got a, sorry, folks. This, it's cool down here in the dungeon, and my nose runs a bit at times. Suzuki sealed it, yeah. Ovi kind of giving away the puck there. Can Hughes find a right D to replace Cartier? Well, yeah, that's. I think what they're probably. You may not want to hear this, but they might get a right D, switch the lefty that's playing on the right side over to the left side. Sid Arbor and Struggle, and have Carrier and the other right D on the right side along with Dobson. They might want one more veteran. I know that's not what people agree with and want to hear, but I don't think. I mean, they haven't sat Carrier a game all year. I don't know that they'd be doing that, to be honest with you. But I mean, if it was up to me, yeah, I would. I mean, I would have Reinbacher in over Carrier personally myself, but it's not up to me, and that's the way she goes. Now let's. I'm just having a quick look at the college here. I didn't get a chance. By the way, Sammy Harris last night had 2 goals and an assist for Denver. He picked up another assist. He's getting a lot more assists this year. Nice to see Sam Harris for a mid to late round draft pick. Geez, Ohio State's really, they beat Michigan the other night. They're 24th ranked and Michigan's number 1. They beat them and they're tied with them. Looks like they're going to be going to overtime tied. So good for Ohio State. Way to go. I'm pretty impressed that they got 3 points out of 4 minimum against Ohio State. Or sorry, against Michigan State, top-ranked team. 2 more assists for Gavin McKenna tonight. Kid's pretty good. Somebody will be getting themselves a point per game plus NHLer down the road. Absolutely. Just checking in on Providence here. See if our boy Sawyer got any points. No. So a quiet weekend for Logan Sawyer. Providence shutout last night. Win 3-2 tonight, but no points for Logan, so he was blank this weekend, points wise. But he's having a good, solid year so far. Minnesota obviously didn't play because they played Thursday and Friday against Michigan, so Michigan and Minnesota not playing tonight. All right. Has to be said that Evans had a great night. I thought Evans was better tonight for sure. I don't know if great is the word. I mean, he got an empty net goal, or good for him, but little better. I mean, the only way that Evans could go, I think, was up. He's been struggling. But I think part of it was having Bolduc on that line. I thought that line looked a lot better with Bolduc than it did with Texier. You guys can can weigh in on that. Tell me whether you agree or not with that contention. Great night, Habs win. Yes. Dovish is the clear better goalie, and it's not close. I agree. Carrier had a strong night. Not going to blame him too much for the bad penalty. Frig, it was 6-2. We always got to find the glass half full there sometimes, eh? Glass half empty. Makes you wonder why they keep going back to Monty. Yeah, it does. It does. If MSL starts Monty in any game other than the second game of back-to-back the rest of the season, it will be criminal. Yeah, well, good point on about Anderson. Yeah, he started off with that big check. That's for sure. Let's just go back to the stats here. Josh played 15-40 tonight. Pretty solid. Who led the way with hits? Bolduc had 3, so hey, you get in the lineup, Zach, throw some hits. He had a nice assist. Kirby, like I say, 6 points in 6 games, another +2. He's really turned it around this year with the plus-minus compared to last year, right? Matheson, 5 giveaways tonight. Okay. Face-offs, Cappy bounced back with a good night in the face-off circle. Best of all the regular face-off men. 1-6, lost 3, 67%. Nice to see him bounce back. I think he was 3-6 last game, so 50% over the last 2. Evans, 56. Deneau, 54. Susie, 38. Ended up 50%, so 50-50 on the draws tonight. Demi, Cappy, and Slav ended up -1. They had some chances though. On that Struggle hit and then the Cappy over to Slav, I was really hoping he'd bury that one, but came close. Man, oh man. Caufield could have had a Hattie in the first 10 minutes of the game. It just like I tweeted out there at one point. I wonder if his mom grew up a Bay City Rollers fan. Because Cole certainly is Mr. Saturday Night. Saturday Night. Some of you'll get that reference. What's this? I got a yellow sign came up. Donnie McCaskill, go Habs, go. $10. Wow. Thank you, Don. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Have I told you that? Nice to see we have 720 watching, 150 are on YouTube. By the way, if you're watching on X, there's 500 plus. Hop on over, join us here in live chat. Hit the like button. By the way, everyone that's on board here watching, if you can hit the like, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take your information or anything if you hit subscribe. And then there's also, you can get notifications of when my HabsCasts are coming up. There's going to be a bunch of them over the next week because trade deadline, March 6th. We're hearing lots of rumors, right? What was the latest one? Oh, Sherwood again. San Jose might trade Sherwood, so I don't know. I find it hard to believe the rumors. I mean, there's a lot of good journalists in Montreal, and they do a good work and stuff. But when sources tell them, "Oh yeah, Montreal has had interest in," I just find it hard to believe that Sherwood really there was ever a lot of interest um, with Montreal and Sherwood, especially that incident with Slav. I don't know. I just think that the Canadians nah, no thanks, but no thanks. And Sherwood, he was having a career year, but in his last 23 games, he has something like 3 or 4 points, um, -10. So I don't know. I would pass. I think I I'm not the hugest Sherwood fan. He's 6 foot 194, so he doesn't really bring size. You know, yeah, he's aggressive and he hits, but if you're gonna get a guy with some physicality in the bottom for the bottom six, I'd like a big guy because they need some more size. You know, so that combination of physicality and size, I think, is something. If you are gonna go that route, coming up here, I would I would get a bigger guy, and also not one that told you know, Montreal's young player that he's going to rip his head off and he wouldn't be able to go to the Olympics. I just uh, um, if the cost for Sherwood was Texas, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, yeah. If it was, sure, you know, yeah. If you could get rid of one of the, I'd think about it. But I still, again, Texas didn't tell Slav that he was going to make him miss the Olympics. I just I like the dressing room, and I don't know. Sherwood, I sure wouldn't put it that way. All right, let's get to a few more here. Oh yeah, you know what? Caufield here, before it's all said and done, with his 37 last year, on pace for 49 this year. Let's say he gets 48, right? 48 and 37, 85 goals in 2 years. Who would have been the last Montreal Canadian to score 85 goals in a 2-year span? It was probably Lafleur. It'd be Lafleur or Shot. I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty sure it's probably Lafleur. The last, uh, or no, maybe Richer. Although Richer, he had the couple of 50-goal seasons, but they weren't back. Were they back to back? I'm just gonna check here. Maybe it's Richer, but I got thinking, it might. Uh, Richer, no. You know what? No. Richer, 75. 81 was the most he had in back-to-back years because he had 50. He had 20, 50, 25, 51, 31. So 51, 31 were his two best years back-to-back. I thought maybe he hadn't. But Cole is going to break 82, I'm pretty sure. He'd need 45 to hit 82, and I think he's gonna hit 40, more than 45 this year, maybe 50. Kind of thinking that the last Hab, because there'd be no one else, right, that had 85 goals over 2 years. Guy, 79, 80, and 80, 81. So, or sorry, 70, 78, 79, he had 52. 79, 80, he had 50. So 102. I don't think, I think that was the last time. You'd have to go back. You'd have to go back to Flower. I'm just going to double check on LaRouche, but I don't believe he did it either. No, 75 over 2 years for LaRouche. And Shutter, I don't believe would have done it either. Certainly not after Guy. Let's see here. I'm just going to double check on Shut. Okay. Shut 79, 80, 80, 81. He had 82 goals. So that the same as Richer. So the last guy to have more than 82 goals in over a 2-year span was Lafleur. Yeah, so we're going back quite a ways, folks. So that's consistency. That's impressive. Kudos to Cole for doing that. You know, Pacioretty had 39 and 37. 76 over 2 years. Cole's gonna shatter that this year. It's pretty cool, eh? Drum Dude, 35 for Cole, finally gonna get his 40. Yes, he is. Absolutely. It's funny, about I don't know, with about 7 minutes left, I heard Dubois' name, and then, oh, Dubois playing. Pretty quiet night from Pierre-Luc Dubois tonight, wasn't it? Cole can make 45. Well, he's on pace for 49, 48.6. I don't know. I think he's on his way to 50 here, folks. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just I hope he does. I hope he hits 50. He's certainly heading in that direction, right? So I really hope that there's 50 in the cards for Cole. What a pick for outside of the top 15 of the draft, right? Like the best goal scorer out of the last last 10 drafts. How many guys have been more prolific goal scorers than Cole? Well, since 2017, has there been a draft pick that's been more prolific goal scorer? He's got to be in the top 3, right? Since 2017, as far as goals per game, and that's 15th overall pick in his draft year. You know, I know for a lot of years there, and to a certain extent, justifiably, Trevor Timmins got grief for not picking good first round picks, but he went out with a bang. I thought Gooley and Caufield were excellent picks in the mid-teens. Absolutely. Gooley's going to be a stud. Just give him, he still only played 200 NHL games, something crazy like that. Feels like more, right? But he's only just scratching the surface here, folks. Gooley's going to be a hell of a defenseman and good at playoff time. Back with Edmonton Oil Kings, he won playoff MVP in the WHL. And you're going to see, starting this year, I think Gooley is going to be a stud at playoff time. Really liked his penalty killing tonight. I really like the progression that I'm seeing from Caden Gooley. Cole now, just having a look here. With 2 tonight, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 14 goals in his last 12 games, looks like. So if he maintains anywhere close to that pace the rest of the year, he's going to crack 50. like he's been hot. Freaking more than a goal per game in his last dozen. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6. 14 goals in his last 12 games, folks. I'm picturing 50 goals. If he keeps up anywhere close to that pace, well, I mean, if he gets 28 in his next 24, he'll get he'll be closing in on 60. So good stuff. Good stuff. Francois, Detroit lost, Buffalo win, Islanders win in OT versus Jackets, Bruins lost, Pittsburgh lost. Quite a good night for the standings. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're getting close to that point where we don't have to worry about it anymore as far as making the playoffs. They're unless they go on like a 5-6 game losing streak, touch wood, I don't think that's going to happen. They're just, unless they decide, well, we're going to give Monty a 6 game. We're going to give Monty 6 games in a row here. Something crazy like that. Unless something like that happens, no, I don't think so. Rangers beat Pittsburgh 3-2 shootout. Philly 3-1 over Boston. Thank you, Philly. San Jose over the Oilers. Man, the Oilers got getting great goaltending, aren't they? New Jersey 3-1 St. Louis. Colorado 3-1 over Chicago. Islanders in overtime beating Columbus. Frickin' Islanders, man. I didn't think that Patrick Roy would come back and be successful coach, but they don't. I gotta hand it to Patty. They don't have a pile of talent there outside of Schaefer and Horvat, Barzal, but they keep winning. Buffalo 6-2 stomped on Tampa. Like Tampa was red hot, before, and now that's twice, 2 losses in a row, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But Buffalo 2, 3, 4-0, 5-0. They got in the first 22 minutes. They were up 5-0 on Tampa. Little bit of a hangover for those boys. LA beat Calgary 2-0. I wonder, good. I want LA to stay in the race here because I wouldn't mind it if they are interested in Line. They lost Fiala. They got to replace. They need to replace that off. They went and got Panarin. So this is Kopitar's swan song. So I think that they would like to go for it. They've got that cap space with Fiala out. Stamkos with another goal tonight, They lost in overtime, so I don't know if Nashville's going to be sellers. You hear them talking about maybe O'Reilly. I don't know. Do the Habs want to pursue O'Reilly? It's let's have a look here at the Western Conference. Well, Nashville's only 3 points out. It's kind of hard to, with that many games left, to say, okay, we're going to pack it in here, folks. Sorry, fans. Get rid of your first line center when you're 3 points out of the playoffs. Doubtful, but teams come calling. You never know, I guess. But it looks at this point like there's now a 10-point spread between Seattle and Winnipeg. So Winnipeg, Calgary, Chicago, St. Louis, Vancouver, they'll all be sellers here at the deadline. It's safe to say. Um, New York Rangers obviously are the only team that's truly out in the East, but New Jersey being 11 back with 22 to go, you gotta think that it's impossible. They'd have to pass 6 teams. They're not making the playoffs. So yet there's also been talk that New Jersey's still trying to get some players. I don't think so. Washington's 2 back of Boston for the last wild card spot. Columbus is the team though that they're 5 back, but they have a game in hand. Yeah. Starting to be a little bit of a gap there. Nice for Montreal to beat Washington because they're in 9th place, right? So now there's 6 points. They've got 3 games in hand and they've got 6 points on Washington. So again, it's looking good for the Habs, not for the Habs making the playoffs, which 2 years in a row. How long's it been since the Habs were in the playoffs 2 years in a row? Too long. I know. I don't know. I don't know. Can you count the year where they were 12th and they made the playoffs? I don't know. All right, let's get back to some comments here. Oh, 4 Summers, $5 contribution. Hey, that's really nice. Thank you. I don't know if you've ever donated before, but I really appreciate it. I like when somebody other than Mark and Francois and Sheldon and company are donating. Haven't seen Brian for a while. I sent him a note the other day, but he went on vacation, and I don't know. I hope all is well with Brian. Germain, as some others might know him by. Haven't seen him for a few weeks here now. Sheldon hasn't been on either for a while. I hope. Anyway, if you guys are listening in, hope all is well. Agree about Slav. He's trying high risk plays. I like to see him play a bit more like Doc. Yeah. Ryan Cohen just became a new member. Welcome aboard, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you for grabbing a membership. That's really cool. Oh, and he also contributed $2.79. Thanks. Matt's 85 goals. Yeah. From 84 to 86. 85 goals. Let's just have a look at here. $42 and 43. Oh, that's good. Hey, good get there. Thanks. Yeah, I hadn't thought of Matt's. I didn't think that he had 2 straight 40-goal years, but no, you're right. So 85. Cole's got to hit. He's on pace for 49. If he does, then he'll better. As I say, like he's on pace for 86. So that'd be one more than Matt's got. So there, that's the mark. Thank you, Ryan. That's the mark for Cole to be after for a 2-year span. He's on pace now for 86. And that would be the most since the Flower, if he did, and that would better Guy. Sorry, it would be the best since Guy. Lafleur 79 and 80, which pretty cool. But you really want Grant to notice Mats? Yeah, well, there you go. Riche, 103 goals. That's not what it's not what the stats said for me. You sure about that? I just looked at it. Maybe I missed something. That the stats didn't. You say 89, 90? Let me just have another look here. No. He had 81, 89, 90, 90, 91. He had 81 goals. His 50 goal seasons weren't back to back. It was 50, 25, 51, 31. So, no, I didn't. I'm right. You're wrong. We're talking back to back, Simo. It was nice to see Doc take that hit when he scored. The guy trampled him, and none worse for wear. I think Doc will be a solid winger for the Habs. 2-year deal? Yeah, maybe, eh? Yeah, people got to be have to be patient with him. I've been saying it. Hey, Doc, I think Doc's a nice fit for that top line. And they had 4 goals tonight. So, granted, not all 5-on-5 or anything like that. But, and I don't know. I don't think you mess with that lineup for the next game, right? The only possible change they might do is Jackeye in for Struggle, but I don't take Bolduc out for Texier in the next game. I think you go with the same 12 up front. Let me know your thoughts, folks. Do you make any changes? I go with Bolduc. I go with Doby again in nets. And I thought Struble was solid. Maybe you give him 2 back-to-back. He's only played 39 this year so far. Arbor has played in 86% of the games. I don't know. Do you take Struble out after a decent night? 3 points in his last 4 games. Maybe you give him another cookie here. And if they are perhaps showcasing him too, it would make sense, right? To play him again in the next match. But I know there's a lot of the people that like Arbor are pretty ardent, pretty fervent about it. And I did post I posted after the first period that in the last 10 periods, Struble had 3 points. In the last 95 games, Jackeye had 3 points. And that stirred up the Arbor Jackeye fan club there. They got a little randy about that one. Hey, I just posted a fact. I didn't draw a conclusion from it, or just them's the facts. Facts are facts. Mark, still love the show in spite not agreeing on Volokin. All right, Mark. You're a good sport. We just cracked 1,000. I love the counter being over 1,000. That's good. 189 here at YouTube, 823 on X. By the way, we have a great crew here that joins the live chat. If you're watching on X, just go to HabsCast on YouTube, hit that like button, maybe even hit the subscribe button and join us in the live chat. I try to get to everybody here. So, Johnny Golden, hey, you're posting before the other night, Johnny. You're really good at it, I have to say. When I say, okay, I'm leaving, and haven't seen a post from you all night, and then you post right at the end, and it makes me laugh because you're pretty you're pretty consistent with that. I'm gonna wait till Grant's saying he's leaving, and then I'll ask a question. Anyway, I get a kick out of it, but nice to see you early with a comment tonight, Johnny. 292 is a decent GAA. 893. You know what? Save percentages are down this year, so I mean when you're winning 75% of your games, uh, the save percentage isn't as pertinent, I don't think. Cole Channing, Leonard Skinner, Mr. Saturday Night Special. Yeah, well, that's a better Saturday night song. Nick Lowe, because it's almost Saturday night. That's a better. Anything's better than SATURDAY night, as far as I'm concerned. I was not at Bay City Rollers. The girls liked Bay City Rollers when I was a teenager. I remember the school dances and Saturday night played over and over again, and just roll my eyes. But no, it was a fun song, I guess. I didn't think so at the time. I thought it was uncool. Hey Grant, TVA is reporting that the Habs have until June to make a decision on Prots. Excuse me. Oh, they're going to sign. They're going to sign Owen Prots as long as they've got contracts there. But I can't see them not signing Owen Prots. I know there'll be a couple of people on here that be pretty upset if they didn't. That's for sure. And he wants a big contract too. Sherwood? Oh, I sure wouldn't do that. Buyer beware on that. When a guy's having a career year at 30, and then in the second half of the year he's got 3 points in his last 23 games or whatever it is, like it's no or 7 and 23, or I forget, but I never put stock in trading room, especially since the PLD Gong Show where he used media to pad his contract with LA. Yeah. And I got, I said something about it. I don't think that he's ever going to. I don't, I commented that I don't think that the Habs have ever were that interested in Sherwood, and I got some feedback from a journalist saying, "Are you implying that I'm lying?" And, well, no, I'm just implying that whatever your source is might be wrong. Yeah. You're not looking at the chat. Geez, Ryan, you're really yeah. No, I can't. There's about 1,000 messages on here. I can't see them all at once, my friend. Mark Napier had back-to-back 40s. Yeah, he did, but he didn't have. And that was before Naslin too, right? Napier didn't hit. I don't think he hit 85 over 2 years either, right? Yeah, he 80, and it was before Naslin. Cole's gonna crack 80 easily over 2 years, and I think, like I say, he's gonna have the most goals Most goals since Flower over a 2-year period. Yeah. I'm surprised the selling teams haven't traded some players yet. Well, there's been some trades, so Francois. You. Hit the like button, subscribe button. We're up to 190. Oh, back down to 185. It keeps fluctuating. They're taking the risk they get injured before the trade deadline, killing any trades. Yeah, usually it's. I think Francois, because there's just so many teams still in it. They're going to wait, especially this year, right to the last day. I'm not surprised there haven't been a ton of deals. I was even a little surprised that there were as many deals as there were right after the Olympic break. Kenny says, I think the asking price too high for the buyers. Yep, I agree, Ken. And as has been mentioned, and Simo adding here, not a lot of sellers. No, there aren't, because there's just so many teams still in it, especially in the East. Really, only one that's definitely out of it, perhaps two, and that's it. Like, everybody else is still sorta in it, even though I'd say 4 or 5 aren't. But even if there's only 4 or 5, there's only 4 or 5 in the West too. So 10 teams maybe selling out of 32. Prices will be sky high. Wouldn't be shocked if we made no moves. Well, the thing is, when's the last time Montreal overpaid at the trade deadline for anybody that went for it? I think this year the East is wide open. I think Montreal has more assets available than anybody in the East. They've got all their draft picks. They've got so many drafted prospects that are palatable, but they're not all going to make the team. Like a Logan Sawyer, an Owen Beck, an Adam Engstrom. I can go on and on here. Pretty decent value prospects. Maybe even an Owen Protz. And they can afford, because they've got such a stock of drafted players and under 25 on the team. I think the Canadians and the Anaheim Ducks have the best under 25 talent in the league. Hey, go for it. If the right piece comes along for them that they think can really help them, get it. And also get, and if they get that, add two others. Like let's say, I don't know, they end up going for Robert Thomas. Yeah, I would deal Oliver Kapanen in a trade to get Robert Thomas. I would. Cappy, Engstrom, and a first or something along those lines. It'd have to be pretty, it would have to be a pretty intriguing package, and that to me is more than a fair return for Robert Thomas. And then you get that big defenseman, you get the Toropchenko or whatever. If they added Toropchenko, Connor Murphy, and Robert Thomas at the trade deadline, they aren't sacrificing the future, I don't think, because they have the pieces that that they can send. That it's not going to be Reinbacher, Hage, or freaking Zurowski. They'll still have quite a few picks, maybe one less first or something. They'll have lost Struggle, Engstrom, maybe back Kapanen and the first or something like that. Maybe one other asset. That's not going to kill their future. They'd be getting back a Robert Thomas that's 26 and is part of the future anyway. If I'm Kent Hughes, I'm really exploring all of these options and willing to overpay a little bit to go for it. You add like Toropchenko Murphy and Thomas to Montreal's lineup. Maybe flip goalies if you can do that too, but just be aggressive, go for it. And you're not just getting all rentals and just going for it for this year. Is there a stronger team in the East? Maybe not. Maybe Montreal can win the East. Maybe they can win the Cup starting this year. So, and then they have all of this under 20. They still have friggin', Demidov, Slavkovsky, Caufield, Suzuki, Doc, Hudson, Gouy, just all of the main under 26 pieces on this team, and then another 26-year-old in Thomas, and have over the next 5 years have a friggin' major cup contender for the next 5 years. Work for me. You even have Hage to bring in at the trade deadline. Imagine if you had Thomas, Hage, Toropchenko, Murphy, what a strong team. I'm looking at it. I'm going for it if I'm the Habs this year. And not to mention just how many people I'd have on the podcast then, watching the podcast if the Habs swung as many deals as that. Anyway, I don't think. Ryan, sorry for being impatient. Grant, love the show. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to. Somebody else be impatient here, please. Thanks, Ryan. I'm glad you love the show, and I'm really glad that you sent me $13.99. Wow, that's that, and then $2.79 and became a member. Thank you, man. It's nice to have this on the last day of February. By the way, it's been a slow month, money wise. I cracked 2,000 on YouTube last month, and I don't know if I'm going to hit 800 this month, but it could, maybe now I will, with your generosity tonight, Ryan, and then also the numbers here. YouTube pays, the more people that view, the more money I get from YouTube. So if you're watching on X, come on over. I'm up to 196. We need 4 more of the 895 that's on X to hop on over here to the YouTube channel, join the live chat. I'd like to have 200 people tuning in if at all possible. That would make me happy. All right, let's get to some more. You really want Grant to notice Mats? Yeah, that was funny. Hey, no, I appreciate everyone. Oh, there's Ellen. Schaefer scored his 19th goal tonight. Wicked, man. Holy frig, eh? 18-year-old defenseman that's going to hit 20 goals, maybe 25. I mean, I said that he could be a franchise defenseman, and I think it's a given now. What a stud. 73, the Islanders got a franchise defenseman. They ended up winning 4 cups in a row, built around that franchise defenseman in Denny Potvin. And what happens, after a bad lull for a lot of years, they win the lottery and move up how many spots. Winning that lottery just made, just wow. Because they got their second franchise defenseman in franchise history. And it's just incredible. We're up to 198 and then back down to 192. Come on, folks. We're going to crack that 200 mark here. LA needed a perimeter even with Fiala in the lineup. They still need scoring. You're right. Yeah. And they're right at the bottom when it comes to what we're at 197. 3 more. um, and they're right at the bottom in power play goals too. Who's really good on the power play? Patrick Laine. So, did you see like last year when he joined Montreal? Habs were at the bottom of the standings, 199. Let's go, folks. When he joined Montreal, Habs were at the bottom of the standings, and then they, went to the playoffs. He scored 9 goals and 11 is for 9 power play goals in his first 11 games or something crazy like that. Hey, absolutely. I see LA as a good fit. I have to get in touch with Dennis Bernstein. I'd hopefully have him on early in the week and get his thoughts on what LA might do, and look for that. Look for a podcast early this week with Dennis. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to have a little feature on Pickford. Rick Springhetti will join me for the Sunday show. He'll have his draft prospect of the week that he had last week that we never got around to doing because all the talk was about Canada losing the gold medal. But he's got a great prospect to profile tomorrow, a draft prospect. I'll have my Habs prospect of the week feature on Pickford. I've got some really unbelievable stats on Bryce Pickford. We got up to 199 and never cracked 200. 920 watching on X. Come on down, YouTube, HabsCast. Join in the fun. Just a sec here. By the way, Next Level Hockey. Folks, this is my new sponsor, Mike and Company. Great group. Next Level Hockey is our specialist in hockey development, trusted by NHL prospects, including Mr. Owen Beck. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, or overall game, Next Level Hockey is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevel-hockey.com and follow their Instagram at Next Level Hockey for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have young aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey, it's in the name. Mike joins us here on the Born and Country. Mike Born and Country. You'll see him in the live chat. He came on. He'd been following this channel since day one. Check out his website. He was a good prospect, and he got a major injury, or he probably would have been drafted, and actually played in Smiths Falls, the Ottawa Valley. I grew up played a lot of hockey in Smiths Falls in the old barn. He came here after the new arena in Smiths Falls, but played in the CJHL, and unfortunately got his first year in college hockey, got injured, and just was never quite the same player after that. Anyways, got into he's teaching hockey. He also scouts for, I think, Spruce Grove Kings, something like that as well. But a really sharp hockey mind, really good teacher. Check out the website. Great guy. They have got a great group there. And if you got a young lad or a young lady or know someone that wants to go to a hockey school, check them out. Would OEL from Toronto fit on this team? Good player. How would it work with him coming in left versus right shot? Yeah, well, I think ideally that they look for a right-handed D and not a lefty. I don't, and it's Toronto too. I just don't see them being. Toronto's not going to help Montreal playoff time, I don't think. I still don't see Arbor or Jaden as anything more than depth guys. Well, that's why I think that's why I think it's the case that they're going to pick up another defenseman here. Buffalo ended up winning tonight. Thanks for somebody reminding me. I was going by the NHL stats there. That's all you can do, right? They didn't update Buffalo for some reason, but so Buffalo's in second. Oh, well. Montreal's got a game in hand. Montreal's still in second win percentage. That's what counts. They're going to go into San Jose, win that game, and be ahead of Buffalo again. But thanks for that correction, Carlo. Bolduc had to put in a good game tonight, and he did. No question, he deserves to stay in against the Sharks. Yeah, I think he plays. Yeah, and as Ken pointed out, thank you, Ken. Thanks for backing me up, buddy. Montreal has a better win percentage, so there. Yeah. Oh, Ken, regardless, Buffalo's in second, 1 point. Okay. All right. Goal save percentage have been going down for 10 years. Players have better shots, teams have better strategy. This is a result of video and stats analysis. Okie doke. Yeah, it's those sticks that break and they, it screws up the goalie and the puck goes in the net. Def Leppard high and dry Saturday night. Yeah. Saturday night's all right for scoring. Was that an Elton John ditty? Habs looking good this year, Grant. Absolutely. Mr. Saturday Night Special. That's probably between Bay City Rollers, Def Leppard, Elton John, Nick Lowe, who I still like quite a bit, and Skinner. Give me Skinner all day, every day. Huge Leonard Skinner fan. Prot's worst case will be an AHL player for Laval. Sign him. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some. Don't worry about that. They're signing Protzy. Good character kid too. Definitely. Had him on podcast last year. Great kid. Montreal had the biggest hits, Struggle and Anderson on his first shift. Yeah. Yeah. What did folks think of Struggle? I know there's a preference for Arbor, but Jaden Struble's a damn good defenseman too. Yeah, he has the odd hiccup here and there, but he, it's not easy when you're you're playing 60% of the time. Doc had a good game tonight. I agree, Pedro. Pedro for president, by the way. I'm starting to feel like Doc is turning the corner. Well, I'm glad you're starting to finally feel that way. He died on Sunday. I've never had faith, but for some reason, it feels like this time he'll stick. There you go. You got to have faith. I'm sorry. 78 likes. And this was at 11:01. Thanks for checking it out, Mark. We never did hit 200. We're at 185. Going to bounce between 199 and 185 here. I guess we're not. There's 1,131 watching, just most of them on X. But yeah, please like this episode if you don't mind. Doc is a very good player, always has been. Sign him now. 2 years, $4 million again. Yeah. Doc to me has always been good on Suzuki's wing. Yeah, for the most part. Just weak at center, and that's what he was traded for to be the second line center. Pretty much. Oh yeah, I wanted to that 3 straight games now that the second power play unit has goals. They had 1 all year up until game 57, and now 3 power play goals in 3 games for the second power play unit. All because they got Brendan Gallagher on it, right? Actually, it's been different all 3 games. It's been different, but tonight Bolduc back on and picked up an assist. But yeah. I felt they struggled shaking out the pressure. Never had cleanly installed themselves in the ozone. Yeah. Well, I don't know. 3 goals in 3 games. I'll take it. Bolduc looked good tonight. Good. 3 hits, perfect for a third liner. Yeah. When's Wi-Fi playing again? Oh boy. The Arbor Jackeye fan club is an ardent one, eh? I don't know, Kurt. He only missed 1 game. Like I say, he's played 86% of the games, and if you know, every time he sits out and you go to social media, you'd think he played 20% of the games, but he's missed 14% of Montreal's games this year, so that's not horrible. When you beat Washington 6-2, team that it was 23-2 or whatever, like it was I think it was 23-2. Just got to double check here. 22-3. They'd lost twice in their last 25 games in Montreal before tonight. Maybe you keep the same lineup for the next game, especially if they are kind of showcasing Struggle here. Maybe Strubble's in again 1 more game. But, it's not the end of the world if Arbor's out 2 games. Get him back in if they trade Struggle after the deadline. But not in a hurry to pick anything up unless it makes sense. Do the serious shopping at the draft. Yeah, but picking up players at the draft, how's that going to help them in this playoff? Montreal's right at the top of the East. Like, why would you wait till the draft if you've got a window to possibly win the East here? Can we remember back to 21? They were 12th and they went to the Stanley Cup final. Well, if you're 12th and you can go to a Stanley Cup final, can you not be third and go to the Stanley Cup final? Like, and you get in the dance, and I'm sorry, anything can happen. Ask the LA Kings the year they were eighth and they won, like they only lost 2 games all playoff. They were eighth place, eighth seed in the West. They lost 2 games in the playoffs. Nashville, eighth seed, went to the Stanley Cup final, almost won the cup. I can bring up a lot of examples here. Montreal's not an eighth seed. They're third. They're third in the East. Why, why wait? They've got this young, great, skilled, like that Washington team beat them last year 5 games, right? Did they look like a team that could beat Montreal in 5 games this playoff tonight? Montreal's talent-wise, we're all over them. No, the East, you go for it now, starting now. Montreal's not going to sit back. Wait until the draft's not going to help them to try to win this year. Florida, to me, still is the team. They won the last 2 cups. With Barkov out, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. They're the only team that I really think Montreal couldn't beat with a healthy lineup in the playoffs this year. They're not even going to make the playoffs. It's wide open in the East. And then who knows? The team that limps out of the West could be all beat up. It's going to be a hard road to win the West. Well, if Montreal gets the final and the team that wins the West is beat up, guess who could win the Stanley Cup this year? No, Don, I think you don't wait till the draft. You go for it now, starting now. Montreal's window is open now from here on. And they're not going to, don't worry, they won't be trading like Hage and Zurowski and Reinbacher to do it. They don't have to. They don't. They've got so many assets. And I think now is that they have more trade options than any other team, I do believe, that's in contention this year. It's a perfect storm. If you got to overpay a little bit, this is the year. This is the time. Go for it. I followed hockey for 55 years, and I know that the time is now for the Canadians. There's an opportunity here for them to win the East, and then who knows in the Stanley Cup final. And also there's a chance, there's an opportunity for them to do that and to contend for the next 5 to 10 years after. Don't keep putting off, this is a team of the future, we'll wait for another year. All of a sudden, that window, the window can close quicker than you think. And, I'd rather it be a 7-year window than a 4, because 4 years can go by pretty quickly. I think, you go for it now. And it's going to be fun these next few days. I really think that Hughes is shopping heavily, and that it's going to be exciting. Newhook brings a nice dimension on the bottom 6. Yeah. I would agree for Thomas, but only because he's signed for so long. The trade that Grant mentioned for Thomas is palpable, but I doubt. I think they want a superstar haul. Well, you're not getting a superstar for him. You're going to get good young pieces. team's not going to trade a superstar. Then what's the point? You're just shuffling, uh, you know, shuffling chairs on the deck of the Titanic. No, well, like that was the basis. Like I wasn't saying that that's it for the trade, but those would be three key pieces in such a deal, right? Um, Kapanen again. The other thing too about let's get Grant to 1,000. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't think I think that fell on deaf ears, though, right? There hasn't been a contribution since your 13.99. Hey, that's okay. May not hit it. May not crack 1,000 this month. Well. I don't mind trades as long as they're under 30, but Monty needs to go as it's becoming a major distraction. I don't know if he needs to go, Chris, but I mean, I'd like him to go, but need to go? Can always do that in the off season, I suppose. Sick of him getting favored. He's had nothing opportunities. Case closed. Well, yeah. I mean, Monty. No, hey. Until he goes, I guess he's still gonna. They're still gonna give him too many starts, right? So, I mean, I'd like for him to go, but yeah, late to the party on that one. But I got thinking about, and it's funny. In the last 15 years, how often have, Montreal needs to trade for a second line center. Second line center, they got to get it. It's never the rabble around it has never been louder than it is this year. And yet, Cappy's going to hit 20, maybe 25 goals this year. When's the last time that the Habs, and I just started, I didn't, and I'm going to research this for tomorrow's show, but when's the last time the Habs had a second line center that scored 20 goals, right? But yet now they gotta replace that second line center. Cappy's going to hit 20 to 25 goals, and he's just got to be replaced. You got to get it better. Greg, when's the last time the Habs had a 20 to 25 goal second line center? It's what do you have to go back to? I mean, Plekanec and Desharnais, but Desharnais never scored 20 goals. Greg, I don't know. It hasn't happened too often in the last 20 years where you had two Habs centers that hit 20 goals. And it's going to happen this year. Now, got to upgrade that. I don't know. I think there's other needs that are larger. But if, as I say, if Thomas comes along and they can, I don't know, Beck Engstrom first round pick and Kapanen might be appealing to them, because I think Kapanen ultimately here has top two center upside. Dvorsky, Kapanen down the middle. That's not a bad 1-2 punch down the road for St. Louis. Braden Shen, third line center for now. They've got other guys coming. Engstrom, us could be top four left defenseman for him. Beck, third line center, you know, first round pick, something along those lines. It might be palatable to the Blues, and guys that can step in here, like they've got a nice 18 to 24-year-old group there, and all these guys would fit in that age group too, where 2 years down the road, the Blues pretty damn solid, deep club. You know, they get a couple of more high picks in the next two drafts. St. Louis could be back in business in a couple of years with a deal somewhere along those lines, I think. So how many likes are we up to now, Mark? The Sharks not getting Schaefer might also win us an extra cup. Yeah, well, we'll see if San Jose ends up being real contenders here. We'll obviously with Celebrini, you'd think at some point maybe, but it's hard to say. They still need options here. But yeah, if they'd have got Celebrini, what would you be willing to give St. Louis for Thomas? Yeah, well, I think I just addressed that. And let's go to the WHL here. Geez, pick forward, goal and an assist. Another goal and an assist for Bryce Pickford tonight. This kid is unbelievable. Maybe that's the guy that they'd have to. I certainly wouldn't want to have to include him in a deal for Thomas, but 4 straight 2-point games for Pickford again here. 37 goals in 48 games. Absolute insanity. I mean, if you offered Pickford in a deal, I don't know. That one would be tough. Yeah, well, we weren't talking about the most, Carlo. 109 over 2 years, but what I was talking about was Caufield having the most back-to-back since Lafleur, you know. And I think he's going to do it. Particularly if he keeps going at the pace he's been going at, just crazy. But Shutter was on quite a heater for a few years there. Lafleur had 60 and 56 back-to-back. So that would be better than 60 and 49. Not surprising that Guy, would have the most back-to-back. Shut 60 and 49 does not beat 60 and 56. Flower had the most goals by a Hab back-to-back, 116. That one is not about to be beat anytime soon. The Flower. Miss him dearly. He was, when I was a kid, 12 years old, Flower flower bloomed, and it was quite a thrill. Rather get Carlo or Tanev? Yeah, Carlo. Under pressure, Brandon Carlo. No thanks. The East is wide open. Habs have as good a chance as anyone. I'd like to add one of these guys. Ristolainen, well, maybe. Myers, Falk, not big enough. Shen, too slow. Who would interest you the most of those four? Yeah, Connor Murphy, I'd like over any of those guys. Ristolainen would be second. White Cloud would be first, but apparently he's not being shopped. That's the guy I'd be really going after. 1,000 on we've got 1,000 on X, 181. Never did crack 200. Folks, if you're watching on X, come to the live chat, YouTube, HabsCast, and join us here. Hit that like button. Did we get up to 100? Mark, did you ever update that? Not seeing any response here. Okay. Oh, here's a new name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Masha de la Lejoux. Hi there. Good day, Mash. What do you think about Carrier D-Zone games so far? Yeah, Ken, I got up to 199. Never hit 200. They teased me. Over 1,000 watching on X, though. I normally prefer Jackeye, but Struggle was quite good tonight. Yeah. Hey. Credit where credit's due, right? What do you think about Carrier D-Zone? Up and down. I think after Galley got the penalty, he didn't see much ice time. No. Let's get back to the stats here for a sec. Struble played 11. Gallagher, why am I not seeing his name? He's at the top. 1347. He actually got a little more ice time than Newhook. They're easing Alex back in a little bit because he, coming back from the injury. Don't want to overdo it with him. Cappy, least amount of ice time again, which makes you wonder if, hey, maybe they are going to look for a second line center. We'll see. Wouldn't you be reluctant to trade major pieces for a soon-to-be 27-year-old center, though? What major pieces are you talking about? He doesn't fit the core age of 19 to 22. Well, there's a core, Lou, of 24 to 27 guys, too. Like Caufield, Suzuki, Doc. Like your first line is 24 to 27, right? So he would be the first line, and Thomas, your top four guys, 24 to 27. I think your top four player forwards would be part of the core, would they not? There's a, Gooley, Dobson, Suzuki, Thomas, Dobish, Caufield. Did I say Caufield? Doc. They're all 23 to or 24 to 27. Your window, your main window here now is 5 years. He would be part of that group, and then the young guys coming up, augmenting it, and maybe eventually surpassing some of them. But no, and I don't think any of the players that I mentioned are really major pieces. So I can't agree with that take. You need veterans as well. Absolutely. Mark, oh, it hit 105. Okay, good. 105 likes. Anytime I'm over 100 likes, I'm happy. Happy as Cappy. Mark Recchi was a top 6 player as well. Danfus Bells played on the top line. Yeah. No need for a second line center. Well, Thomas is a 1B. That's a good point too. He's almost like a, another second line center. Things can change though, Francois. Again, when your window is potentially open, you open it. You start now. And trading away, like I suggested, Kapanen, Engstrom, Beck first, is not going to change that. It's not. You've got the core there to contend for the next 10 years, but especially the next 5, if you could get a Thomas for that sort of return. I can't agree, guys. I'm sorry. 109 likes at the moment. Thoughts on Demi? Seems off. Yeah, looks like he's still got that weight on his stick, eh? You see it in the practice. Yeah, hey, rookie year. There's going to be some ups and downs. You don't turn a guy like Thomas away. No, frig. If you could get him, not give up any of the, the top 5 prospects, absolutely. But the Canadians are in the, I'd even consider Zurofsky. Like yeah, he's got a high ceiling, but the floor isn't that high. I mean, if that's what it takes, considering that Thomas, will Zurofsky ever be an 85-point scorer in the NHL? I don't know, but Thomas is already, and he's 26. I would even float Zurofsky if that's the piece that has to be included in the group. I would consider it. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's fine. We don't all agree on things all the time. Nathan says he's too expensive. He might be, at the end of the day, that's possible. But I look into it. I'm taking centers, not winners. Only Smith, Muller, Dumfus, and Turgeon were centers. Traded to Habs and 3 of 4 won cups and became 2 captains. So maybe Thomas is worth trading for. Well, it's my old cohort on with recruits. Brian Wild used to say, "Win the middle, win the game." Right? By trading for a 27-year-old guy, you basically shrink your cup window. Well, look, Page is probably 5 years away from being an impactful top 2 center if he ever is. He might be on the wing for a while first, So the first 5 years here, you got Thomas, right? And Suzuki. And then after that, you've got Hage, who supplants Thomas, and for the next 5 years. I disagree. I'm sorry, Lou. No. Demi is saving himself for a long run in the playoffs. There you go. Thomas is a dream without giving up Hage and some picks. Yeah, well, I'd trade Jarosky in a package for Thomas. Yeah, I would too. People might forget that Thomas was a hell of a player in junior as well. Oh, frig. Robert Thomas is a he's a supreme playmaker. They had him in the lineup. Oh my goodness. Top offensive team in the East easily. The Habs had a great goaltender, but has had a GM that didn't work hard enough to get the right pieces and only picked fourth-line players at trade deadline. Let's not do that again. Exactly. That friggin' remember the year they were in contention and they picked up Steve Ott, Andreas Martinson, and King. That was thrilling, eh? My God. Again, when's the last time the Habs went for it at the trade deadline? Like really went for it, picked up. Can somebody jog my memory here? Added significant pieces at the trade deadline. When's the last time? It's time. It's time. I think we should all in around our future superstars. Yeah, well, hey, getting Thomas fortifies those young superstars. 26-year-old centerman, typically one that's elite like that, he's good for another 7-8 years production wise, so like Suzuki and Thomas, 7-8 years, they can be very productive, and you've got Hage backing them up and capping in, and like no, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad, it's fine, Grant, we see things differently. Yeah, no, I just, you got to have vets, and ideally in 5 years time you got 2 32-year-old centers leading the way. Believe me, that's fine. Steve Yzerman won his 3 cups between the age of 30 and 35, right? That typically, you look back on cups, how many centers, were leaders, were key figures on cup winners that were 30 to 35 years old. There's a lot of them. And, they're important pieces. Trust me on that. Thomas Vanek. No. That really count. He was already past his prime at that point. And it was, it's not like they added 2 or 3 pieces. I wouldn't say. I mean, it was, and it's funny, and that, like, for that even to be suggested, that just tells you how sparse it's been, right? If that's the big add that they've done at the trade deadline, is Thomas Vanek. But what else did they add that year? There wasn't much, right? Vanek, I mean, he was, he had scored 25, 26, 20, 27, and then the year he got traded, 27. Like, he was never a 30 goal. He wasn't even a 30 goal scorer anymore in the league at that point, And I don't know. He was kind of a little disappointing too, but what else did they add that year at the trade deadline? Can anyone? But the excitement that, we almost got a point per game player added to it, that was, he was kind of a slow one way kind of, I don't know. I didn't mind him being added, but, certainly not a Robert Thomas anyway. Robert Thomas is a legitimate, in his prime, 20, point per game center, right? Vanek was 30 at the time. He was no longer a 30 goal scorer. Didn't really play defense. Wasn't rugged. Wasn't going to do a lot for you at playoff time as far as helping you win 3 or 4 rounds in the playoffs. Robert Thomas, yeah. He will do that. And it's already done it, right? He was just a young buck on their last cup win. Hey, Grant, you have shares in Thomas. Nah, they don't have to get Thomas. Believe me. Hey, trust me. I'm perfectly fine with Kapanen as the second line center for now. But if you can, I think that they can offer as decent a package as most teams. And yeah, I mean, frig. Why wouldn't I be interested in an 80-point friggin' center if you can get him? Frig. I watched him. I loved him in junior. Exact same draft class as Suzuki. I had them back to back in the 8th and 9th ranked, the two of them. And I was getting excited. I could not believe that he dropped to 20 in the draft. I'm freaking texting back and forth with Trevor Timmons saying, holy frig, are you guys you gonna get Robert Thomas? That, Bergie and his ever, can't get a top 2 center or a first line center. Well, he almost fell to him in the draft, but St. Louis nagged them at 20. And again, Bergevin, who would never trade up in the draft. I mean, I'm freaking texting Trevor and saying, move up. When it gets all these friggin' defensemen that I didn't like Liljegren and Vakanainen and the slow one that Tampa, Eric Brandstrom, and who was the other guy? The Tampa, Cal Foot. All these guys going instead of Thomas. Oh my God, how is he dropping? Because I mean, Ottawa, and I got to see quite a bit of Robert Thomas, and okay, this guy is smart and good, competitive, skilled, and had him ranked top 10, and he dropped to 20. But and I'm texting Trevor saying, move up if you can here, man. But Bergevin would never move up. Kent Hughes would have, but he wasn't the GM at that time. Went for it and got Vanek. Yeah, well, again, did they really think that Thomas Vanek was going to take him to the promised land at playoff time? He was the anti-playoff guy. Hage and Fowler, I would not move, but Jarosky, I would. Yep, for Thomas. Jarosky, Engstrom, back in the first. I don't know. I mean, that's not a bad return. Engstrom, Jarosky, Beck in the first for Thomas. Oh, Ken's saying the same thing here. Cappy slides to 3C. Yeah, and it's a deep playoff run for years. Yeah. H comes in. Oh, man. Absolutely, eh? You've got Hage and Cappy on your third line. Hello. Like, really, And Jarosky, so if you have Thomas, so you have Doc, Suzuki, Caufield, first line, right? Is Jarosky ever going to replace any of those guys? No, he's not. Second line, Demidov, Slavkovsky, Thomas. Is Jarosky going to replace any of those guys? No, he's not. He's a beautiful stick handler, but there's a lot of parts to his game that are many years away from him being an impact playoff performer in the NHL, I believe. So I would include Zarowski. Engstrom's a very, he could be a top 4 defenseman. Jarosky in another organization, top 6 winger. Beck, third, fourth line center. First round pick, attractive. Yeah, that's a nice package. It really is. Nathan saying Jarosky isn't enough, but like we're talking about the other 4, Jarosky isn't enough, but Engstrom, Jarosky, Beck in a first. There aren't many teams that can offer better than that. Throw in a 2027 second rounder. Well, if you have to, hey, what the hell? I've usually been scared of the 30-year-old mark for hockey players. Yeah, 20 years ago, Lou, but not the way players look after themselves these days. Jesus. And again, let's say worst case scenario, Lou. Thomas at 30 years old just falls off the face of the earth. I mean, when you're as smart and as skilled as he is, he won't. But let's just say, all right, he hits 30 and he's done. Hage is ready to step in for him. He gives you 3 years of heavy contention, and then Hage is ready at that point to replace him. So worst case scenario, it's still fine. You still got your 10-year window with the first 3 years truly contending instead of waiting another 3 years and then having a 7-year window. I'm not gonna talk you into this, eh? I can tell. I can tell you're stubborn just like me. Won't be enough. You trade a superstar, you need sure upcoming top players. not suspect prospects. Well, I don't know. A couple of the prospects in that deal, Francois, weren't, there's no guarantee on them. Like Buem, he's already sat out games. But the trade, how is that group surefire prospects compared to, one's a 5'9" center. Nice, but is Rossi going to be a number one center? How many 5'9" number one centers are there? Liam Ogren, there's still question marks on him. Like Jarosky's has got as much upside as Liam Ogren. Buem, will he be light years better than Angstrom? Well, maybe. Perhaps. But also consider, as far as value goes, Thomas is a nice player, but Quinn Hughes more value, higher value than Robert Thomas. I mean, Robert Thomas is probably going to be Montreal's second line center. Quinn Hughes, Norris Trophy winner, 25-minute defenseman, best defenseman at the Olympics, 25-minute a night, number one defenseman, right? Can't get as much. You can't be expecting St. Louis to get as much in a trade for Robert Thomas as Vancouver got for Quinn Hughes. So, no, I think something along the lines of Jarosky, Engstrom, Beck first would be, would be fair. If they wanted Kapanen as well, that's pretty steep. You're starting to, that's very close to what Vancouver got for Hughes. I don't know that, you're almost overpaying a little too much at that point, I think. Yeah, what star did the Canucks get back in the deal? Right. Like, there's question marks there too. Like Liam Ogren, who knows? Like, there's still questions about his floor too at this point, right? He's played 27 games in Vancouver. He has 9 points. Like, is that, he played 18 games in Minnesota. So 45 games this year, he has 9 points. And it's not like he's a kid, he's 22. So basically, he's got worse stats than Zach Bolduc, right? And basically the same age. So, why don't you? We'll throw Zach Bolduc in that deal then. I think he's equal to Ogren at least at this point, right? No, yeah, Buem isn't a definite star either. No. And like I say, you can't expect the same return for Thomas as Quinn Hughes. Your dog was sitting on your phone. Yeah, likely friggin' story, Nathan. We supposed to believe that? Oh, geez, it's already 2 hours here, right? Okay, I'll go a little longer. I've got 3/4 of a beer. I'll go till the end of my beer. Buell is way more proven. How is he way more proven? And again, you think that they should get the exact same return? Like, come on. Buell has 20 points in the NHL. He's played 52 games. He's way more proven. A little more proven, I guess. But anyway, again, we'll have to disagree on the fact that you think that Thomas should get the exact same return as Quinn Hughes did. And as Ken pointed out, he's been a healthy scratch some games. But I do like Buell. He's a half decent prospect. Okay, Jonathan, you made me laugh there. They also got, oh, if you wouldn't have said great, it would have been even funnier. But yeah, you put that in there just so I'd get it, but I got it. The great Mike Weaver. Yeah. So Thomas Vanek, Mr. Playoff, and Mike Weaver. Yeah. No, the insiders may have been shocked, and they were. Montreal got Thomas Vanek, but I mean, fuck. Why are they so excited about this? Oh, how could the Habs land Thomas Vanek? Like I wasn't nearly as excited as these insiders were about Thomas Vanek. Like, really? He's gonna take Montreal to the promised land here? Oof. You don't evaluate yourself, you listen to the experts. Okay, so which experts, Francois, as far as draft picks go? So there's a bunch of media guys that you trust, but you don't trust me, who former NHL scout that has put up draft guide for 20 years, that scouted Steve Buell, but you'll what? Which experts, media experts, do you trust way more than me? That I'm almost insulted by that, Francois. All right. Anyway. There's no. Anyway, we can go back and forth on this, Francois. At the end of the day, still, yeah, Buell is a good prospect, and he might ultimately be better than Jurowski. He might be better than Engstrom. He might be better than, Beck in the first round pick, probably. But Quinn Hughes also had more value than Robert Thomas. So you have to weigh that against it too, right? Can we at least agree on that? Or do you think Robert Thomas will fetch as much value-wise as Quinn Hughes did? If you think that, then we'll just agree to disagree. But we can go back and forth on Steve Buell. We'll see on Steve Buell. He, might end up being a number one defenseman. Maybe. He also might be a second line defenseman. It's too early, to anoint him, just as it's too early to anoint Jurowski or, Engstrom or any of the prospective players that we would include in a trade. But yeah, it's like I don't see St. Louis getting his superstar back. Like they'll get good young players that maybe aren't in the league yet that you don't know 100%. Just like Liam Ogren, you know, jury's out on him. Buem, who knows? It's still too early to say one way or the other. As Ken has pointed out, he's been healthy scratched. So anyway, and Roderick Casey, of course, we had to get somebody weighing in on Reinbacher, not Engstrom. Well, we'll disagree on that one, my friend. No, Reinbacher not going anywhere, and Engstrom's not a better prospect than Reinbacher. No. Was Hudson healthy scratch last year? Okay, you guys keep going back and forth on that. Mark Perot, love your show. Watch Sick Podcast still. What are your thoughts on Doc's resurgent? He looked great, relaxed and confident. Yeah, I've been. You're not Mark Perot that I know, are you, Mark? Relaxed and confident. Yeah. Well, I've been. Thanks for tuning in here, Mark. Yeah, I've been saying, and I guess, well, frig, I'm 2 hours in here, so obviously you weren't around for the whole show, but yeah, and I've been saying it for a while now. I like, give Doc a chance here, give him a good run with the on the top line. A full. He's had periodical um, auditions on the top line, but then injuries and other things got in the way. I want to see him get a full blown look on the top line. I think he bounces out that line. They need a big guy with some physicality, good puck skills that can help get pucks out for the other two guys. Can play defense, especially on the wing. I think he's good defensively on the wing. His plus minus, it's like a complete turnaround from last year, right? Last year he was almost like a minus a game, basically. Minus one every game type thing. And this year, different story. Uh, he's a plus this year. Yay. And recently, plus plus 3, plus 2, plus 6, plus 5 going into tonight's games. And I imagine he was a plus tonight. Let's just have a look here. I think he was plus 2 tonight, was he not? I'm just going to double check. Plus 2. So, plus 7 in his last 6 games. Yeah, 5, 6. Plus 7 in his last 6 games. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Live in Tulsa now from St. John, New Brunswick. Oh, okay. Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's a good rock and roll city. How did my NHL career go? How did your NHL career go? Oh. No, not that well, Nathan. Thank you for asking. I did play, I did get a one just like you there, the one game thing. I played against Steve Eisenman, Central Junior Hockey League. I played a game. It was fun. He inspired me. Like I was 17, he was 15. He was the best player in the Central Junior Hockey League. Skated circles around me, and inspired me to take journalism, go to school. So okay, I'm not going to make it here as you know, I'm not going to have a career as an NHLer. I'm going to go to college. And I actually took radio, TV broadcasting to start. I wanted to be the next Danny Gallivan, and soon discovered that I just didn't quite have the confidence in front of a mic to ever be the next Danny Gallivan. Switched over to journalism and wanted to be the next Red Fisher. That opportunity never came up. But here I am, many years later, writing and talking about my beloved Montreal Canadiens. So life could be worse. I feel blessed, even if the path wasn't quite what I had hoped when I was a teenager. Nathan, were you what did you play Newmarket, OJHL? Go that route? Are you Nathan Phillips from Burlington? Played for the Toronto Junior Canadiens? That Nathan Phillips? Let me know. Then I woke up and realized I only played Junior A. Yeah? So you are Nathan Phillips from Burlington, 5'10", born 2005, played for the Toronto Junior Canadiens, Newmarket Hurricanes. That you? Are you a Habs fan, Nathan? Eisman probably did that to quite a few, Grant. Yeah, I think he inspired a lot of us to sorry, I didn't realize that I still had the stats up there. Sorry about that. I could be lol. Diehard Habs fan. Yeah, right on. I was thinking of another it was Zach Phillips. Okay. Who I was thinking of. Who got picked pretty high, played in the queue, but he wasn't a very good skater. St. John, he funny that somebody was saying they're from St. John, Mark Perot. Zach Phillips played St. John, I think, with Nathan Beaulieu. That's who I was thinking of first of all, but yeah. That is crazy. I was kidding, but respect. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I wasn't a bad hockey player, but 5'9", didn't have that height. Kind of a late bloomer. Uh, Hitter. I like to hit. That was probably the best part of my game. Stocky uh, playmaker. Now you're on a mic all the time. Go, Grant, go. Yeah, there you go. um, I could be, but a diehard Habs fan from Burlington. Right on, Nathan. Glad you could join us. Well, I've got a half a pint left here. It is now 12:24. We still have 1,200 people apparently viewing, 148 here. How many likes are we up to now on here? Did we crack 150? Hit that like button, folks. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Send me money if you're feeling rich. $2 even. Toonie. I take toonies. Paul Coffey's parents lived behind the school I went to. Used to see him often. Yeah. So that's your claim to hockey fame, Mark? 126 at the moment, sir. Yeah, good. We best episode in weeks. I'm gonna probably crack 2,000 here just tonight. That's encouraging because February people weren't tuning in. That's for sure. Hey, it's a HabsCast, I guess. People want Habs talk, right? I'm just quickly going to look here. The Volokin one hasn't gotten a huge by the way, folks, you get a chance, have a look at the Volokin video. 1.2K. Oh, I thought it'd be more than that, but good numbers. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Okay. What do you think about Doc on the first line? Like it? Seems like some of the Habs pundits are skeptical about him being a long-term solution. Oh, there's always going to be Habs pundits that have different opinion than me. That's fine. People are, it's still. I don't like. I'm not one that worries about. Oh well, he might get injured again. Well, if he gets injured, he gets injured, right? You can. I mean, just like Nathan, he got concussed. You don't know. Like, sorry to hear about that, Nathan, by the way. But I mean, I'm not one. I believe in the law of averages more than all player is injury prone. Like Caden Gooley, for the next 5 years, he may have very few injuries altogether, and people forget that he ever had a spell where he had a lot of injuries, right? Kirby Doc, same deal. Like there are some players that go through, in their early years, they have a bad luck streak on injuries. They have a few injuries, and then they're fine for the next decade. That could be the case with Kirby Doc. I don't know. Like injuries for the most part are due to just bad luck. It's like Galley. He kept getting hit in the friggin' hand with a puck. Like, what were the odds? They weren't good, but it kept happening. Wasn't that he was injury prone, he just bad freaking luck. Anyway, now Galley the last 3 years, you know, some wish he'd be out of the lineup, but I mean, Galley's healthy now. The bad luck streak is over, right? His first few years, he barely got injured. Then he had his little streak there. You know, Markov, he had the 2 friggin' bad knee injuries. Bad luck, right? But then how many games did he miss at the end of his career? Not that many, right? Like Galley, the last 3 years has missed 5 games. And remember when, oh, well, he's injury prone. He blah, blah, blah. Well, no, he just had a streak of bad luck. So, anyway, I'm not one to believe in the injury prone thing. Koivu. Yeah. There's another one. Galley 8 Weber shot. Yeah, I know. It was just, bad luck. Wrong place, wrong time. I'd be injury prone too if I got freaking slap shots, Shea Weber slap shots off my hand 2 or 3 times. Montreal could have had like 10 goals tonight, passed up and robbed on golden opportunities. Oh, frig. Cole could have had 5 goals in the first period. Charlie Lindgren. Did they, I was wondering if they had crossed paths maybe 1 year. Was Charlie still with the Habs when Cole was a rookie? So I'm thinking, they have a little chat there. 2019-20 was Charlie's last year with Montreal. Okay. So just missed him, right? Caufield came the next year or whatever. Okay. So they weren't teammates. I was just curious. Do I think Doc has the IQ and talent to keep up with them? Yeah. He was a top 3 pick. He's got the talent. He's one of the best 6'4" plus in the league as far as hand size combo. There aren't many guys 6'4" plus with better hands than Kirby Dach. He's very good hands. IQ's fine too. Like he can make plays. Yeah. I don't and good enough skater for his size too. No, only thing with Doc is you just hope that he stays healthy. Coop Stanley Cup champs from my hometown, Brian Campbell, Nanny McDonald. Oh yeah? Brian Campbell, hell of a junior. I watched his junior career being an Ottawa 67s fan growing up. One of the few guys, they only have like Peter Lee, Bobby Smith. Like the Ottawa 67 should have about 15 numbers retired, but I think it's Doug Wilson, Peter Lee, Bobby Smith, and Brian Campbell, if I'm not mistaken. are the only 4 that have their numbers retired. That's how revered he was for his junior career in Ottawa. Hell of a defenseman. Yeah. If you believe the rumors, other teams are inquiring about Doc. Well, sure they would be. When young and growing, injuries are easier to have until you harden up. Gooley and Doc were both fairly young. Mr. James, glad to see you chime in. Yeah, Cappy, H, Bolduc, third line. Wouldn't not too bad, eh? Yeah, if you could somehow get Thomas, boy. Ooh, I love the, you know, Doc, Suzuki, Caufield, Demi, Slav, Thomas, Cappy, H, Bolduc. Oh, my goodness. What is that? All first round picks, except for Cappy. 8 first rounders and Cappy in your top 9. Love it. I was just making a point that I think he's worth keeping. Yeah. What did I think of Demidov tonight? A little disappointed. Oh, Mark just sent me $2 overtime pay. Thank you, Mark. I holy frig. So I interviewed. I did an interview this morning, over an hour, and then over a 2-hour show live after that. They included that, and now 2.5. So I've podcasted for 6 hours today. Well, today being tomorrow now, but yeah, that might be a record for me. So yes, I appreciate the overtime pay, Mark, quite a bit. Thank you. I love Doc. As Bergie used to say, Doc strikes me as one of those players that could get you through the playoffs. Yeah. I had a good story from and then you followed that up with becoming a YouTube member. Thank you. Welcome to the club, Costa. It hardly cost you anything. You're trying to put in a full shift, Grant. Yeah. I think it's a full shift. You add in 2.5 hours of watching the game, right? The 2 hours prepping. Yeah, I've worked about 12 hours today, but hey, it's fun. It's Habs. I don't consider it work, really. Frick, I'm having a beer, hanging out with my Hab brethren. Life is good. And today I am going to do a show in the morning with Rick. Then I'm going to Gatineau to watch Tommy Blale. Nice player. Easier after a win. Yeah. Oh yeah, Denny'd be up there too. Yeah, he must be on that wall too. It's got to be. These numbers got to be retired too. But it's only like 5 guys: Wilson, Campbell, Peter Lee, Bobby Smith, Denny Potvin. Yeah, thanks, Peter. I thought I might have been missing one. And then Brian Kilray, they've got up there too. The greatest, in my opinion, the greatest junior coach ever. Killer. Yeah, quite a history there. I was there Peter Lee night. only time they've ever had more than 10,000 at the Civic Center. It was crazy. They honored him. He scored 80 goals, and then Montreal drafted him in the first round. I was ecstatic about that, but he was undersized, couldn't skate that well, but man, he could shoot a puck. Yeah. Didn't Potvin have insane numbers? Oh, frig. Potvin, I think he was 14 his first year. Him and Orr, you know, he was the next Bobby Orr. He was damn close to it. Not quite, but I mean, he also brought that toughness and defense. Remember the Superstars competition back in the 70s where they get Brian Budd used to win all the time. He was a Canadian soccer player, but Potvin went in it a couple of years, and they did a weight lift thing. Trottier was in there one year too. He did okay, but Potvin could lift quite a bit over his head. Strong, barrel-chested, could handle himself in the fight too, Denny. But he kind of blew, he was pretty full of himself. And the 76 Canada Cup, when he whined about Orr winning the MVP and said that he should have, that never went over that well. Bobby Orr's swan song, he did it on one friggin' leg, led the tournament in scoring on defense on one leg, and Denny complained and said that he should have won the MVP. Grant, thoughts on Kent being one of the best Habs GMs of all time? A little early to be anointing him that, but I mean, one of the best, one of the 5 best, yeah. I mean, one of the best since Sam Pollock, yeah. But Savard, Pollock, Selke are at the top, and then it's not like it's a who's who after that, right? I mean, I put him ahead of Andre Savard. I guess I'd put him ahead of Bergie. I definitely put him ahead of Reggie Grundman. So yeah. Potvin had, yeah. Oh no, he was a superstar. There's no doubt about it. And he knew it. He told us all about it. I talked to Larry Robinson about, he thought that the MVP of the 76 Canada Cup really was Rogie. Should have been Rogie Vachon. Danny thought it should have been himself. And Orr won it. And it was kind of a nod to, Orr's fabulous career. But Denny broke in, like at his first full year training camp. He started it. He was still 14 years old. Played 3 games as a 14-year-old in 67, 68. And then the next year, when at the start of the year, he was still just 14 and he turned 15 early in that season. Got 37 points. Like, only other guy that ever did that was Orr. It's remarkable, really, that at that age to be playing junior hockey. That tells you just how great these guys were, right? Park wasn't very old when he, but not like those two. They were generational defensemen. There's no doubt about that. All right, folks, I guess I better wrap this up here. Don't seem to be getting too much overtime pay, so we still have 134 watching. First beers I've had in a while here. Thank you for the new members, Caustic, Mark. You were quite generous the last 2 days. Might have helped get me over $800 for the month. Thank you. Four Summers, appreciate the $5. New members, thank you. Francois, you're always good for. Always appreciate your support. Ryan, thanks for becoming a member and contributing about $17. That's great. Grant, I know you already have a log jam with the bottom pair, but do you think Ryan Barker and Engstrom should each get a handful of games before the playoffs? Well, Engstrom's out for a month, right? So, he may not be back before the playoffs. So, probably not. I mean, it depends here too. If they trade, they may trade Engstrom. They may trade Struggle. If they trade Struggle, maybe Reinbacher comes up. But if they pick up another defenseman, then no. So ask me that question, Costa, after the trade deadline. All right. I mean, if they trade Struggle and they don't pick up a defenseman, yes, Reinbacher will get a look. But I have a feeling that they're going to pick up another defenseman, and that they're probably going to keep Reinbacher in Laval and try to. Ideally, there's 2 long playoff runs here, right? One in Montreal, one in Laval. Mark, thank you. Yeah, hey, thanks for tuning in. You put in a 6-hour shift today too, or 5 anyway. Hey, no problem. Thanks. Drum Dude needs a star after his name. You should so be a channel member. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ken. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get more coaches on and the like. It's fun. This is Derek. Thanks for chiming in. And yeah, that's a good point. NHL money needs to move. Well, all right, but if they get rid of Line A, will that not free up some money? I'm not a capologist, so I don't know, but there would have to be, there would have to be another salary or 2 moved, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be in that trade too, right? But to get Thomas, at the very least, they would have to shed Line A's contract. Then would they have the room? Probably, I think. I'd also look at trading Evans if Kapanen isn't part of the deal or whatever. I would trade Evans to free up some salary there too. You know what? I did not do that Francois. So caught up in the Habs that I didn't even pay heed to the Rocket. Thanks for the reminder. They lost 6-4. Joshua Roy, goal, 2 assists. Sammy Blade, another goal, 2 assists. Reinbacher with another assist. That's 4 points in 2 games. He was not. There were a lot of guys that were minuses tonight. Not Reinbacher. So when you got 6 goals against, and you you're even on the plus minus, that's good. So Reinbacher up to 16 assists on the year. I like that. Hunter Jones in nets, let in 6 goals. Yeah. Come back soon, Jacob. We need you. But they got crunched by Syracuse tonight. Yeah. Josh Waugh 6 shots. Blay had 3 points and he ended up -2. I guess the power play was working tonight. Nate Clerman, superstar, -2. Willie Trudeau -3. Or sorry, Clerman and Trudeau were each -3. Nice to see Owen starting to produce here. Goals in back-to-back games for him. That's good. 3-game point streak going for Owen Beck. They're missing Engstrom and Fowler, obviously, here. Alex Bazil having a really good year. Another goal and an assist for him. So, hey, the fact that Hunter Jones had to go between the pipes, I don't think helped. But, yeah. 6-4 loss, Laval tonight. Thanks for reminding me, Francois. The Leafs got thumped again. Oh, yeah? Okay, well, Tina will be happy in the morning. Sens. That means the Sens won then. I didn't even look at that score, actually. All right. 2:47. Not going to be anybody watch this after. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the contributions. 5.2 cents. Okay, good. Good for them. Not big on the Sens winning, unless it's against the Leafs. Then go. All right. I am going to wrap it up. I'm going to keep it under 3 hours here. Nature's calling. So thanks, everyone. Great show. Great support. Hope you can watch the show with the Prospect show, me and Rick tomorrow. This has been great. Kostak, thanks for becoming a member and your support. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. A fun night. Fun for hockey to be back. This is going to be, I'm going to put in a lot of hours this week with the trade deadline stuff. Looking forward to it. I'll get some reporters on, some guests, and we'll a lot of chat. And it's going to be fun. Okay. Go Habs, go. Hope to see you in the morning. Good night. Have a pleasant dreams, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.